Don't call me baby. Oh, oh. Don't call me baby. Oh, oh. Don't call me baby.
What's up, everyone? My name is Nonô, and welcome to another TALKBOX episode. And today is a very, very special episode, not only about our guest that we have on the show, but it's also our first live episode. So with no further ado, please welcome the super talented DJ, producer, entrepreneur, and family man, Bhaskar.
Hey, what's up?
So, how are you today, Bhaskar?
I'm fine. Now it's summer in Brazil, so it's the best time of the year, and we're super excited for the next shows and all the tours ahead.
It's so great. Summer is the best thing. I just arrived from London, and the feeling that I get from Brazil is just unparalleled. So yes, I agree. 100%.
I understand. I lived in London for a while. I spent a winter there, and it's terrible. It's hard.
It's so sad. It's really sad. But okay, so let's get into music straight in. You just released a brand new single, Power in My Soul, with Too Strange. Can you tell us a little bit about that collaboration and how that song came about?
Yeah, so Power in My Soul was a really cool track to do because like when I started it, I was already thinking on the masterclass I was going to develop from it. So there's a video of my masterclass explaining everything that I did on the track, and it's good for the producers to get used to my workflow. So like I believe this track has a special meaning because the purpose is bigger than just streaming around, you know. It's like really like passing knowledge to people, and Too Strange was like really cool to work with them. It's like my second or third collaboration. And they really got the flow, like they really got the idea I wanted to bring people that like, if you believe in yourself, if you have power in your soul, you can go further, you know?
Definitely. It's an amazing song. And actually speaking on not just the DJ side, but the producer side of it, how is your creative process when you write a song? How do you approach it? Is it more like the production side, or is it a melody or lyrics? How do you usually go?
Yeah, in this case, I started from their vocal. I just got the top line and just did the rest of the track based on that. But it depends on each case, you know, like usually my creative process, it's really depending on what I feel I need to do. Like sometimes I have like a bunch of streamable tracks and I know I need something for the club. So I already start with the idea, okay, let's push this one to make people jump, you know. And sometimes it's the opposite way. Like I want to go deep, and then I start the song already thinking on a melody, on something that really touches people.
Yeah, I mean that's the best way to work around it as well, because then you get more tracks and different types of it as well.
Yeah. You need to be dynamic. You know, people sometimes get tired of just listening to the same story every time. You know,
literally, it's very important to be different. And so when you started DJing, because you started very young at 12 years old, that is unbelievably young. Did you think about production way back then, or were you more, I'll DJ, and then you were listening to a couple of songs and you're like, I would like to have a song like this and release my own stuff? How was that transition from DJ to producer?
Yeah, so I started DJing when I was 12, like based on my parents' story, because they were already DJs. But the production was kind of a video game, you know, like we just thought it was cool to tweak around and see the sounds coming out. So like me and my brother, we just started doing it for fun with no responsibility of like, I'm going to do the best song. It's going to be a hit. And I think that's a really cool way to start, you know, with no pressure, just having fun. Mm-hmm. And when we were like 16, 17, we saw that we needed to have an upgrade from our career. So we started doing like tracks to release, like thinking on the market itself. And it went well, really. It went well because like in 1.5 years, 2 years, we were already like competing with the other big acts worldwide on Psytrance at the time. But like it was good to see this evolution coming step by step and not like putting too much pressure right in the beginning, you know?
That is very important to take it step by step. And also having achieved so much already, do you have any dream collab still? Someone that you really want to work with?
Many, actually many. Like in EDM world, I think probably Zoo and Camel Fat are my favorites. And outside EDM, I really want to work with guys like 21 Pilots and maybe Glass Animals would be cool. So yeah, I'm more into like this indie stuff outside EDM, you know.
So do you ever plan on releasing more indie stuff as well?
Yeah, I have some things I'm tweaking around, but it's hard because like you don't want to make people see you too with a too big range, you know, of music. So I'm trying to put it slowly inside, you know, not just like messing with people. Like, okay, one day you release a Brazilian bass, the other day you release an indie stuff, you know. So you need to be careful when you do that.
Definitely. But that's also something that is interesting. It's the fact that sometimes as artists, we get put in a box of like, you can only release this type of music, but some days we want to do other styles of music. Do you struggle with that? Like,
yeah. That's something that always comes on our minds, you know, like how can we keep our personality and still have the freedom to do whatever we want, you know? Now, actually, I'm working on an album, which I'm going to show much more of me, you know, because in an album, you have this freedom, you know, you can just, okay, now I'm going to tell a story of everything I like and not only just push singles to stream well or to do well, you know.
Do you have any like spoiler? Can you tell us the name of the album or when to expect it?
Well, yeah, I got 2 spoilers. The name is going to be Solar because like my name means sun, so it makes sense. And it's going to be out probably the 2nd semester on Controversia.
Controversia family.
Yeah.
That's going to be great. So on the DJ side of things, can you tell us a bit about your process? How do you choose songs for your set list?
Well, every time I kind of study the place I'm playing and the other DJs around. So like if I see the like, especially in Brazil, like there's so many cities with different type of culture inside electronic music that you need to kind of understand who is big on that place and what usually people listen there. So I kind of build my set based on, okay, this is going to work for this place, you know. And every time is a challenge because Brazil is so big, you know, so you need to be flexible and understand each crowd. But, you know, it's crazy because like every time I go somewhere out of Brazil, I'm totally out of my comfort zone because I really don't know what people listen there, you know. I have my references, but it's not like I know exactly what's going to work. So it's a place of tests, you know.
That must be really hard. And also like with all the traveling and touring and you have to still do the research and how do you find time for all of that?
It's good because like as I work as an A&R on Controversia, I get so many good demos and, you know, promos from all the artists. And also like I have this kind of mission that every Friday I just search around Spotify, see what's new there. There's this playlist called Friday Crate Diggers. You know, every Friday I just go the whole playlist, you know, and see what's new, see what's coming up. So, you know, like I need to say I find out more music than I can actually play, you know. There's so much good stuff on my pen drive that I don't have time to play, you know.
So besides that, do you have any like pre-show rituals? Like, do you pray or do you, I don't know, meditate or?
I don't think so. I think the only thing I like to do before the shows is coming on at the show before it starts, like at least an hour, because I just feel terrible when I arrive 10 minutes before the show. I just can't connect with people. I don't understand what's happening there, what's the vibe. So I prefer to get there at least an hour before, feel it, you know, and then I kind of get into the mood.
Definitely. Do you have a favorite show that you've played so far?
There are a few.
You can tell a few.
Yeah, like I can't just name one. So I would say, and it's crazy because like they're totally different one from the other. Two of my favorite ones were Lollapalooza at São Paulo and Rock in Rio. And it was crazy because it's like a huge stage, festival vibe. So it's really energetic. And my third favorite, which I don't know if it's third or first or second, was in Sydney when I played at Sash. It's a club in Sydney with an amazing view. And the crazy thing about it is that like I was booked based on like network. A friend of a friend just put me there, but it wasn't because of my side as an artist. So I didn't have any responsibility. I just had to do good music, you know. and it was crazy. Like people didn't know me, I didn't know people, and we had one of the best experiences.
That's amazing when you connect with the people because of the music.
Yeah,
that is great.
exactly.
So now more on the business side of things, because you do everything. You're doing everything Bhaskar, like no stop, no sleep, just doing so much. And your latest announcements was Sound Visor. Can you tell us a bit about that?
Yeah, in pandemic, we had to start thinking about other stuff. And Sound Visor was one of the ideas that came up this year. And it's basically a social network for DJs and producers where you can find like kind of a 360 from the whole scenario. Like there's a feed where people can interact, give feedback, download new music. And there's the educational side where you can watch master classes, download packs. So it's where, like, if you don't have any contacts inside the scene, just go to Sound Visor. You're going to connect to people. You're going to learn more. So it's a platform that breathes electronic music.
That is brilliant. And it's also like coming up in the industry, especially here in Brazil, is sometimes really hard. I mean, the industry is hard everywhere, but with you guys creating that, I just thought it was so brilliant because it just gives people more of an opportunity to reach like bigger names. And I know there's this whole thing of like you get a medal as regarding your like your Spotify rankings.
Exactly.
So I saw all of that and I thought that was really cool and really smart.
It was really cool because like we did it in partnership with a producer school in Brazil, and they felt the pain of every student. Like they gave the courses, but people couldn't interact after they watched it. So they wanted to give to sort that problem, you know. And the feedback has been great. Like people are really getting into the platform, spending hours there. And like now I started to download songs from the platform and play on my sets. So the new producers are like, whoa, I don't believe it happened. You know, so it's really good to see this feedback.
Because you give that exposure as well.
Yeah.
It's a great platform. How was the experience of recording masterclasses? How was that?
It was cool. Like before because like I used to play with my brother back in 2010, and then we stopped playing, and I stayed like 2-3 years away from music. And when I came back, I opened a studio to just give lessons, you know, like DJ and production. And so I was kind of used with this atmosphere. And in the masterclass was cool because like I could just, you know, work and talk about what I was doing. It was supernatural, you know. I pretend to do more. Like as we were speaking before, I don't want to keep just doing one single style. So soon I'm gonna do something also for the clubs, or you know, a tech house masterclass. I don't know. I'm just gonna feel it.
Everything, honestly. Yeah. And also on the entrepreneur side as well, you opened Mezanino. Can you tell us a bit about that as well?
Yeah, like I was raised in Brasilia, the capital of Brazil. And, you know, I always felt like Brasilia had a lack of like places to eat and have a good time at night. So we decided to do something on the most emblematic place in Brasilia, which is the tower, like in the middle of the city, 360 view. It's amazing. And it's still something new for us, but we're loving the experience. Like having like really good food with really good drink and parties like at least one time a week. So it's been great. It's like a place where I would like to go to have fun, you know? So it's good to create these things for more people, you know?
That's brilliant.
Yeah.
So on the personal side now, we talked about your whole journey. Is there anything that you would say to your younger self now if you could look at young Bhaskar and just tell him an advice or just say a phrase or anything that you'd like to say to your younger self? What would it be?
I think that's the most difficult question until now. But maybe I would say that like what I noticed all these years is that like when I had the biggest growth of my career was when I didn't put myself into pressure, you know. When I was thinking about people's opinion, like, I'm not going to do this because people are going to say that it's not right. My family is not going to like it. My brother is not going to support it. I was always like kind of putting me on a negative atmosphere, you know. And when I stopped doing that, I just did whatever I wanted. Was the best things. Like an example was here, now in in pandemic in May of 2020. I was playing after my brother's live stream on Global, which was like global, was huge, and like many people went from his live set to my one, like as an after party, and expecting me to play at least something similar to him. And I just said, I'm not going to do that. I'm going to do whatever I want. And it was the best choice I ever did, like it really could make people see our differences, see my own qualities, my personality. And from there, I really started seeing that I need to be true to myself. So definitely I would say that to my younger me.
That is true. Yeah. And do you think social media, how do you deal with the pressure of social media? Do you struggle, or is it something that you're like, oh, it's okay now?
I struggle more. It isn't even with hate or, likes. I struggle more with the pressure of need to be present all the time, like sometimes I just want to, throw myself on away and just enjoy life, but you can't stop. If you don't do anything for a week, people will say you disappeared, So that's the thing I don't like about it. But it's also like we need to see as a tool, as a way to reach more people. So it's Controversia,
Nice.
Yeah.
Okay, so also an advice that you would give to younger artists that are starting now, I guess, if you have anything to say to them.
I would say that you need to treat this profession as something that is really professional. You can't just go in because I'm gonna be at the parties with girls and money, and not seeing as just a fun place. You need to really treat it as a profession. And like people go to college to study for 4 or 5 years to have a profession. It's the same on the DJ and producer side. You need to study. You need to have dedication. You need to be there. So I would say just treat it seriously,
So thank you for that. What is next for Bhaskar? What's coming up? We know that there's Solar coming, the album, but do you have any more plans for the end of 2021? Any shows you want to plug or anything?
Yeah, like the tour has been crazy since parties are back since October here in Brazil. And I'm really excited for the next tours because I'm also going outside Brazil. Like in March, I have a tour in the States, and I'm gonna be around. I just want to travel. We stayed too long home, and yeah. But I think my main project for 2022 is my album, because I really want to treat it in a special way, not as like music that you can just discard the month after. I want to see this as a project that people are gonna listen in 20 years and say, I remember Bhaskar's first album. Like it needs to have more importance than just a single going well. So yeah.
Definitely. Okay, so for our last section of the show, for the people that follow us, you might know it. It's called, is that a no-no or is that a yes? So I'm just going to ask you a couple of questions, and then you tell me, is that a no-no or a yes? So social media, is that a no-no or a yes? Even though we said a bit.
Could I say yes, no, or something?
maybe.
maybe.
Yeah, sure.
This is a hard one because, like, as I said, we know the importance of it, but I just dream with the time that we can just disconnect, So yeah, hopefully, like, I really want to be like, my main heroes are the artists that don't need social media that much, So I want to be like them a day.
Yeah. Okay. So maybe.
Maybe.
Touring, is that a no-no or a yes?
Yes, definitely. That's probably my favorite thing about being an artist. I couldn't just be home producing.
Yeah. And the last one is family time. Is that a no-no or a yes?
Yeah, I think that's obvious.
Yeah, it's a bit obvious.
Yes.
Yeah, that's it. Thank you so much, Bhaskar. Thank you, everyone, for watching. It's been a pleasure. And that's it. Thank you.
Thank you. Bye-bye.
Don't call me baby. Don't call me baby. Don't call me baby.